Good morning and welcome to pre-service meditation at Creative Living Fellowship. We're so glad you chose to begin your morning with us. So I'd like for you to do whatever you need to do to get quiet, to get still, whatever it is you need to do to be centered and be fully present for this experience. As we're in meditation, I would like for you to ponder what you might do to live your absolute best life. And if you're doing that already, wonderful. If there are a few things you haven't crossed off your to-do list yet, just go into the silence and allow Spirit to speak to you, letting you know what it is you might do, might say, might read, might think, might feel, in order to allow Spirit to move in you, is you, as you. Use this time to discover the divine urge that would love to be expressed by you. And as we release the silence, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out and return to the physical space where you find yourself. We hope this experience has uplifted you as your presence has uplifted us. And don't go away. Hang around. Service starts in a few minutes. Thank you for joining us. My name is Damana Shauri. I'm an outreach practitioner here at CLF, and it has indeed been my honor to facilitate this meditation. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Living Fellowship's very special online service today. Please join me in our opening song, Holy, Holy Way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. All the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Reveal the path of peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me do it.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Sherman. I'm a licensed practitioner here at Creative Living Fellowship, and I am delighted to serve as the Sunday service host this morning. Whether you are joining us on Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube, it is my pleasure to welcome you here. Although she may be watching from afar, our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary, is not participating in the service today. However, the licensed practitioners here at Creative Living Fellowship are the featured speakers and will give the talk this morning. This is Practitioner Sunday. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with the tools for living our best possible lives. We believe that there is a power for good in this universe, and we can use it. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said that life is good and God is good. Why not accept this and begin to live? That's our goal here every week, to learn to embody the truth that life is good and God is good, so that we may experience this daily good in our individual lives. I'd like to acknowledge practitioner Monica Zickas, who is holding the high watch for us this morning. And this means that Monica is sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, holding a space for the perfect unfoldment of this service. So thank you, Monica, for supporting us this morning. Our musical inspiration today is Adam Smith. And now, our opening prayer will be given by practitioner Rhonda Emmerich.
Good morning. Please join me for prayer. With gratitude and love in our hearts, we take this time to recognize that there is just one power, one presence, one essence, one mind that is expressing itself in, through, and as all beings on this planet. As it is expressing itself in, through, and as me, I know that each one within the sound of my voice and beyond is an expression of the divine. We are one in love. With gratitude in our hearts, we bless this service. We bless the speakers today, those participating in the service, those listening online, and those will hear this message at a later date. We bless our minister, Reverend Dr. Sherry, wherever she is at this time, knowing that she is surrounded by love, she is surrounded by light. And I send that same love and light out across our planet as I bless every person on this planet, every religion, every faith tradition, every philosophy, knowing that we are one. We are one in love. We are one in peace. We are one in gratitude. And I send special blessings out to the citizens in Texas, the students that were affected by the school shooting this past week, knowing that God is in their presence right here and right now. I bless the families, the friends, all people, just send blessings of love and light. Where there is pain, we know that the truth is love. Where there is fear, we know the truth is love. And with gratitude in my heart, with deep gratitude in my heart for the perfect manifestation of this prayer, I release this prayer into the law, releasing it, letting it go, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. And for that, I am grateful. And together we say, and so it is.
What will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you? Must you feel pain in your body what's in your home. The clutter of confusion or blocks on the path that you're on. Do you notice me when you're happy, or is your euphoria much too high? Why wait till you're in the valley? Must you seek me with a sigh? Ooh, what will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you? I love you in the bleakness of your winter, in the purging of your fall, even in the spring and summer when you think you're the center of it all. I'm there for you when you want me, even there for you when you don't. I am there before you call me. I come through even when you think I won't. So what will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you? What will it take? What will it take? What will it take? What will it take? A quiet whisper is enough for me, and my whisper is enough for you.
Our reading this morning is excerpted from Think Your Troubles Away by Ernest Holmes. Think effectively. A person should feel that he is surrounded by a creative mind which receives the impress of his thought and acts upon it. He is in the mind and the mind is in him. The power of which he thinks is the mind in him. His mind is not another mind, but the one mind, manifesting as the individual, as himself. Each of us as an individual, evolving into reason and freedom, is continuously using that mind at the level of our consciousness. The greatest thing that has ever come to the world in the entire history of its evolution is the conscious recognition that there is a creativeness in our own minds, which uses a creativeness with a capital C that is infinite. That each man in the integrity of his own soul can enter this universal goodness and take from it as much as he is now ready to receive. If we are carrying about in our memory that which does not measure up with harmony, we should consciously discharge it, knowing that though all of us have made mistakes, there is still no power in the universe which wishes us ill. It is impossible to draw a fair estimate of the life of the soul from the short experiences of a few years. We are eternal beings on the pathway of experience for the purpose of gaining true individuality. Even our mistakes are a part of our evolution and should be so considered. Let our present experiences be all of such character as to harm no one and to help all. Then shall the past be a beautiful memory. the present a glad hour, and the future a joyful expectation. All souls are eternal. All persons are divine. And in the long run, good shall come to all.
Good morning, CLF, and happy Sunday. Thank you for having me this morning. This song is called Forgotten Songs. Leave it behind. Let the music break through. Let it go. Let it flow back to you. There was a song I wrote a long, long time ago. Now forgotten, where did it go? I sat and tried to remember every note. I can still hear it. Leave it behind. Let the music touch your soul. Let it go. Let it flow back to you. Back to
And thank you, Adam Smith. What a blessing you are to us every time you come. So appreciate you. So this month, we have been looking at spiritual mind treatment, which is another way of saying a positive prayer. There are 5 steps in the treatment. And so this being the last Sunday of the month, we are on step number 5, which is the final step. And it's the step where you are to release. So our practitioners this morning will be talking about how they release, how they look at that step, and how that impacts their lives. Let me tell you about our first speaker this morning. Damana Shori is an outreach practitioner at Creative Living Fellowship. She has been involved in religious science for more than 30 years. She has been a board member, provided Sunday lessons, taught accredited classes, and facilitated workshops at the religious science centers she's been affiliated with. Damana currently resides in Chicago, where she is a licensed practitioner at the Oak Park Church of Religious Science. Would you please join me in giving a warm welcome to Damana Shori?
Thank you, Carrie. The phrase letting go might have a negative connotation for you. The implication being that you're giving up or losing something, somehow depriving yourself. In a cultural climate of gimme, 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 and I want more, 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 letting go may sound like you're depriving yourself or making a huge sacrifice. But in the context of spiritual mind treatment, the words take on a completely different meaning. The 5th step of treatment release is letting go of the treatment and knowing that the law does the work to manifest your desire. Letting go is really an act of faith, where you rest in calm assurance and know that you have done your part. You have stated and affirmed your desire, and then you release that desire knowing it's done. There are different ways to release something. There's the example of being released from the hospital after a medical procedure. You receive an aftercare plan and instructions on how to take care of yourself until you heal. You're told what's likely to happen, as well as things to look for that might be a cause for concern. And with this kind of release, the hospital also releases or gives up responsibility for you and your care. You're on your own at that point. But unlike someone being released from the hospital, when you do a spiritual mind treatment, you are not on your own to figure out what's going to happen or to make anything happen. By the time you get to the release step, your work is done. The universe doesn't drop you off and leave you alone to figure out the details. How is not your concern. As we say, how is none of my business. You've declared your desire. You've recognized the source, the one source. You've acknowledged your unification with that individualization of the power. You have affirmed the realization of your desire, the qualities of it, the feelings and experiences that it evokes. You've stood in that experience. You've lived in it and you've lived from it. You've given thanks for your good and accepted it as already having been received. You've done your spiritual work. When we release, we let it go. We've done our part. As we say, God's got our back, and the full power of universal principle supports the manifestation of our desire. Our work is simply to know that we deserve our good and that our good takes nothing away from anyone. And we welcome it into our life. We know that the law is demonstrating it on the physical plane. It's a done deal. Like Ricky Bibi reminds us, I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Looking at the process of how things unfold, let's think about what happens when we bake something. When we're baking a cake, we may open the oven and check on it every once in a while to see how it's doing. Unlike a cake in the oven, we don't go back to check on the status of our treatment. We might check on the cake for a number of reasons. Because we aren't sure of the accuracy of the oven. Maybe we want to make sure it's not undercooked or overcooked. We might check on the cake because we forgot what time we put it in the oven. Or simply because we want to admire our beautiful creation. And that's fine when it comes to a cake. But with treatment, we don't wonder or doubt or second guess. We simply know. We don't wonder if our treatment is unfolding or allow doubt and worry to creep in. And Think Your Troubles Away, Ernest Holmes advises that we must resist the temptation to give our spiritual mind treatment and then steal it back and see if it's taking root. If your treatment includes doubt, so will your demonstration. It's similar to having a garden. When you plant a row of cucumber seeds, you know a cucumber plant is going to come through the dirt. You don't doubt that. You don't dig it up every few days to see how it's doing. You know how it's doing because you understand the growth process. You know that nature is growing your plant with perfection. And you know that you'll see that plant in due time. And what you'll see is a cucumber because that's what you planted in the soil. You don't wonder whether a zucchini or squash will grow. You know that's an impossibility. Nature grows your seeds, and she will grow something that you planted, not something different. So it's up to us to give the fertile soil what we want to demonstrate. You are so certain that nature is doing her job that you go ahead and you tell all your friends and relatives what crops you'll be able to share with them in a few weeks. You don't tell anybody, well, I planted some stuff in the garden, but I don't have a clue what's going to come up. I'll just have to see. You have faith. The same faith and certainty we have about our treatment. Just as we know that nature knows how to grow a cucumber from a cucumber seed, we must also know that the law knows how to manifest our desire from the mind seeds, the ideas that we've planted. That's why we must be very clear what we give to the law. Just like you can make plans about the meals you're going to create with those veggies that have not yet grown out of the ground yet, you can also plan the activities you're going to enjoy as your desire unfolds. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said of this teaching, it might not be easy, but it's simple, like planting cucumber seeds to get a cucumber plant. Sometimes we get caught up in the not knowingness of spiritual work or of a spiritual mind treatment. With plants, there are volumes of evidence to prove that the process works. We can find examples of Mother Nature's work all over every single day. We know that trees, grass, flowers all materialize from the same process. And we learn all about that process in school. Our teachers teach it, and we create science experiments that prove it. We don't doubt it. And thinking about what teachers teach, imagine a world where spiritual mind treatment is also a part of the curriculum. We know that Mother Nature's laws work. Knowing that spiritual mind treatment works requires a little more of us. It requires faith. It requires us to believe in a treatment the same way we believe that acorns grow oak trees and the way we believe chickens lay eggs instead of having babies. Faith. In the good book, Matthew 17:20 says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And until we have that kind of faith, that is our work, to develop it, to believe it. When we move into our statement of release, we are already in appreciation of the desired good. We stand in faith and we believe that it's done. You believe the same way you believe that your house or apartment will be there when you return home today. You have no doubts about that. You don't have one fear that you're going to find a gaping hole in the ground where your home once stood. You know it'll be there. We must know that the law will work. We don't doubt that our oven will bake a cake. We don't doubt that cucumbers grow from cucumber seeds, that acorns create oak trees, or that the sun will be in the eastern sky in the morning. We know. Faith, the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith in that mind seed that we plant. Faith in the fertile field in which we have planted our mind seeds. Faith in the law to do the work. Let us nurture and maintain that rock hard faith that assures us all of these things, that it works. Faith that assures us that we can do our spiritual work and then simply release our desire. Let it go and know that it is done. Faith can move mountains. Your faith can demonstrate your desires if you believe. With deep gratitude, I release my words to the action of the law, knowing it is already done. The law always, only, and ever says yes. I release and I let go. And so it is. And now I'd like to tell you a little bit about fellow practitioner Fran Peck, who will continue our Sunday lesson. Fran Peck began studying and practicing the teachings of Ernest Holmes in the 1980s. Religious science practitioners are an instrumental part of her daily life. Fran completed practitioner studies in 2018 and completed her animal chaplain credential in 2019. She has served in many roles at Creative Living Fellowship over the years. And I am honored to introduce to you Fran Peck.
Thank you, Damana. Thank you so much. So our topic this week is Let It Go, release, the fifth step of treatment. I'm going to remind us of the first four before I go into my message. The first step of treatment is recognition. That is, recognizing that there is a power and a presence greater than we are. The second step is unification, and that is unifying with that knowing, with that power, with that presence. Just knowing that power and that presence is our very life. And then that takes us to the third step of treatment, which is realization. And that is realizing that whatever we desire is already done in the one mind of spirit. That we can have the desires of our heart and be grateful for it, which is the fourth step, gratitude and thanksgiving. Gratitude and thanksgiving for this knowing, gratitude and thanksgiving for living, being part of this one. And then in that gratitude, we release our word, we release our prayer, we release our treatment into that universal law that only knows yes. So how do I, as a practitioner, practice our fifth step of treatment? And how do we, as practitioners, since we are all practitioners, if we practice the principles of the science of mind, how do we practice releasing? Well, I'm going to submit to you every moment of every day, since every thought is a prayer. If we are praying without ceasing, then our thoughts are constantly released into the law, into that divine creative medium. Everything we think, everything we feel flows into that creative medium. So each thought is released, whether we realize it or not. Ernest Holmes reminds us to be conscious of our releasing, to consciously release into the law only that which we desire to experience. He reminds us to guard our thoughts. I had a friend who every time they drove, they complained about slow drivers in the fast lane. Put that thought out into the universal law. So guess what they attracted? Slow drivers in the fast lane. We must be mindful of the thoughts that we are releasing. We also release when we surrender to that power and presence that is greater than we are and recognize even what we're experiencing is all good, with a capital G, as in God. We put our thoughts into the universal law and the universe responds. It has no choice. We have a choice. Our yes, our response to the universe is a choice. And we must be willing. We must be willing to choose. We must be willing to accept that that universe is all good. My first real conscious recollection of consciously releasing and letting go to a power and a presence greater than myself was when I found out I was going to be a parent, and a single one at that. Now, anyone who is a parent will tell you that parenting is a constant let it go moment. From the birth, through the teens, and even beyond. I can attest, I spent many a prayer, many a spiritual mind treatment as a parent, just getting my son through his teens. It was not in my outline to be a parent. And how that came about is a message for another day, but it sort of involves the animal chaplain side. Okay. But I knew if the universe brought this into my experience, that there was a reason, and it was only for good. And now, more than 40 years later, I have a grandson. Never occurred to me that would happen. The joy of surrender, right? In our releasing, we must believe that there is a power and presence greater than whatever the experience or condition may be. And Holmes tells us to approach this power simply and directly and easily, because it is right here within us. There is no spot where God is not. One morning, sitting in my quiet time, my meditation time, I heard that still small voice that sometimes isn't always so still or small, say that it was sending someone. It had a partner for me. I said, really? Because I'm not looking. The universe said, you don't have to look. You've already put it out there. I chuckled and said, I can't wait to see how you pull that off, because I'm also training dogs 3 times a week, so I don't have time. Then about 6 months later, Ernie Peck showed up and later changed my name and adopted my son. I wasn't looking, but he was right here all the time. And because of that, yes, we moved to Nebraska and I finished college. And ultimately, I'm here in Phoenix because we moved here for his employment. Every experience, every yes, was setting me up for my next greatest good. I have and do work in industries doing what I love. I worked on 2 hurricane grants serving thousands of people. I love my current job, and the universe just brought it to me out of the blue, just out of the blue. Just releasing and just being open to it, just out of the blue. I wake up every morning grateful and looking forward to the day. And I start my morning in spiritual practice every single morning, every day. Being open to the guidance of spirit led me to Creative Living Fellowship, which is a huge part of my life and has been now for several years, leading me to become a practitioner and an animal chaplain. That never occurred to me. That wasn't in my outline. I was just open to the guidance and released it to the universe. And the universe said yes. Each yes, each release, each let it go moment into the universal law took me up yet another rung in the evolutionary and spiritual spiral. Every place I've been, everything I've done has been the universe working for my good. Back of all things, that source, that power, that presence, that life that is my life and the life of each of us. I don't know what I would have done without these teachings. I don't know where I would be without these teachings. I have been living these teachings for well, now going on probably 40 years. Only recently, really appreciating these teachings and deepening into these teachings. And it is because of Creative Living Fellowship that I'm able to do that. And I'm able to serve this community. And in that, I love it. So I want to leave us with this Ernest Holmes quote before we go into prayer. This is from the Science of Mind textbook. Spirit then is all there is at this very hour, and all creation is spiritual. The universe is a spiritual system impregnated with divine ideas and peopled with spiritual forms. The ideas of God are perfect law on their way to producing complete and perfect effects. The universe is alive, conscious, awake, and aware. It is love and life. It is law and order. It is a cosmos. So now I invite you to take a breath and turn within and join me for prayer. Just breathing into the awareness, the recognition of that one power, that one presence, that one divine energy, that one that is the source of us all. It is the source of my being. It is my breath. It is my life. It lives, moves, has its being, and expresses uniquely and individually as me. And it expresses uniquely and individually as each and every one of its creation. It is life giving life unto itself. And so very blessed to know this truth. I bless our time. I bless the Creative Living Fellowship. I bless each and every one of our congregation, knowing that they are blessings to the greater community. I know that these teachings and the use of these teachings in our lives ever uplifts us and takes us ever higher in that ever expanding spiritual spiral. I bless everyone around this planet. I bless everyone who needs a prayer today, knowing that the power and the presence of that great comforter is right in the midst of everything going on. Every experience, every condition. I know that that power and that presence, that divine energy heals, uplifts, and comforts. And I bless Reverend Dr. Sherry, knowing that she enjoys her day. And so as I send us out into the rest of our day, the rest of our week, I do so in profound gratitude for these teachings, for this word spoken, and how this teaching and these words operate in my life and the life of each of us. And so I send us out knowing that we are divinely guided. We are ever divinely guarded, and we are always divinely inspired. And I say, thank you, life. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you, Damana and Fran, for those inspiring and guiding words, reminding us the importance of letting go and trusting. This is the time that we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. CLF is a tithing church, and therefore we invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. You can click on the link on our website or on the comments in Zoom or on Facebook and YouTube. You can also use your smartphone to text to give by using the text phone number of 602-610-1868. Whichever method you choose to give, we truly appreciate your continued financial support of CLF. Now let us repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And now it's my pleasure to welcome back Adam Smith with our offering song.
See my reflection in the fire. See my reflection in the flame. See your image in the waterfall. A memory is not the same. What do we make of all this chaos? What do we do with what we know? Is there a hero here among us? We left the garden long No, I don't want to be tied to you, too free to tattoo what's good for me and good for you. No, I don't want to be a prisoner or a prisoner of my free mind. I felt the sadness in your presence. I saw warning in the sky. I found I cut the cord so easy. Connecting your soul and mine. No, I don't want to be tied to you, too free to tattoo what's good for me and good for you. No, I
Thank you, Adam, for that awesome offering song. It's my turn now to do today's announcements. So let's get started. Well, let's start with that tomorrow, Monday, in observance of Memorial Day, our office will be closed. I hope everybody has a safe and memorable holiday and that we take the time to honor all of those that have lost their lives and served our country. And even though our office will be closed, our Monday offerings are still available. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us get comfortable with silence. And as we master that still, silent space, we open ourselves up to God. So join us for midday meditation to start or support your meditation practice. Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also hold a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. Join us for any of these meditations through our Facebook and YouTube live streams and in Zoom. And speaking of spiritual practices, join Reverend Jorge every Monday evening to explore spiritual practices that apply Sunday messages to the lessons and experiences of our day-to-day life. By increasing our practices, we open up to see beyond our boundaries and self-interests and transform our consciousness to enjoy the union with God and to live from that union. You can participate in Monday practice with Reverend Jorge through our Facebook and YouTube live streams at 6:30 p.m. Get your community care and connection on with your CLF family and Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Zoom meeting at 6:30. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. We look forward to seeing and connecting with you on Tuesday. The Ernest Holmes book study is underway. They are reading Think Your Troubles Away and meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss, grow, and deepen in connection with community. This is a drop-in group, so get your copy of Think Your Troubles Away and read through the first 9 to 12 chapters and then zoom on in on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Our practitioners are available for one-on-one prayer with you in a private breakout room. Or you can reach out to one of our on-call practitioners. The list can be found in the comments or on our website under prayer. You can also email a prayer request to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Upon receipt, our practitioners will pray on your request for 30 days. Remember, you don't need to walk around with a heavy heart. Your practitioners are waiting for the opportunity to serve you in prayer. And after service, soon, we will have Sunday fellowship too. Join us in Zoom and hang out, discuss the service, and connect with each other. If you're in Zoom with us now, all you need to do is stay here. And if you're not, then join us at the end of service. And the links can be found in the comments or on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or in your weekly newsletter. You can also find the links and information for all of our other opportunities to connect and practice in those locations as well. And that is it for today's announcements. It is now time to go back to Carrie Sherman.
Thank you, Nicole. So a couple closing reminders before we conclude our time today. Remember to use the treatment for supply. It is the community prayer we have been using for a couple years now. It's on page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. Use it once, twice a day, more. We know that when we pray, our prayers are answered. And so put your intention out into the universe and watch miracles happen in your life. Continue to connect with each other, whether that be through a text message or an email, or you pick up the phone and you talk to someone. Very important that we stay connected during these times. So let's do that and just let someone know that you're thinking of them. It means a lot. Thank you for joining us this morning. Reverend Sherry will be back next Sunday. Now let's move to our closing song. I release, and I let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I